Autism not caused by vaccines, a report here from MedPage Today. There's convincing evidence that some vaccines cause some adverse effects, including seizures, brain inflammation, and fainting, according to a new report from the Institute of Medicine. But evidence also favors rejecting the idea that some vaccines cause type 1 diabetes or autism. Well, the 647-page report commissioned in 2009 by the HRA, the Health Services Administration, administered the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. Now that's the place I'm saying. The Vaccine Injury Compensation Program, you can't say anything. They give you money, but you got to be quiet. Now listen to this. The agency asked the Institute to review the evidence linking 8 vaccines and a suite of possible adverse effects that have been subject to the compensation claims. All told, an expert panel convened by the Institute found convincing evidence that 14 adverse effects can be caused by 8 vaccines. Those against varicella zoster, influenza, hepatitis B, where this poor little child suffered and died. Unbelievable. And human papillomavirus, of course, the other one that they're pumping. Measles, mumps, and rubella, the MMR, and meningitis, as well as tetanus-containing vaccines that do not carry the whole cell pertussis component. Now this is from the Institute of Medicine. I mean, come on. Unbelievable. It's incredible. I mean, there's so much information about this. You have to. The evidence favored rejection of the causal link in 5 cases. It favored a rejection. It didn't reject it. It favored a rejection that the MMR vaccine has a link to autism and diabetes. But all these other things are a problem as well. But there's convincing supports of these causal relationships between all these other things. So there's definitely, look, that's a problem. Why should this be happening? You know, that's the whole thing. It doesn't matter. You know, they big pharma, they don't care. They just don't care. And they got doctors in their pockets and politicians. And meanwhile, they slow kill people and then they suffer and other things. And then they have to buy more drugs because this flu shot will reduce your immune system so you catch that disease. And then you have to get this drug to treat that disease. And then that drug has a side effect that you're going to need to take this drug to treat. It's just crazy. I mean, again, now I'm getting angry. Because this is what people don't understand. This is what the fuck is going on here. This is why I do this. Because I know they're killing us. I know they're killing us. I know they're enslaving us. I know my son will have no future if he doesn't do something about this. And I should say I don't do something about this. He'll have no future. But we all have to do something about this. We can't just sit here alone and just bitch and moan. We have to get out there and do things. Get involved in organizations like We Are Change. We meet every other Saturday in Waterbury, Connecticut. You can join us at wearechange.org. wearechangeConnecticut.org. That's wearechangeCT.org. And keep listening. This is informedradio.com. Give us a shout in. 772-905-3018. Again, this is Howard from Safe Home. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. That's my place of business. Just thought I'd give a little shout out to them. Anyhow, I think we've come to a point where people are just so, like, complicit in their own demise, you know. They just accept the tyranny. It's like, go gracefully. I mean, everybody after the Nazis did their tyranny and people woke up because they were sleeping. The whole world was sleeping to what was really going on as far as how bad they were. They weren't just, it wasn't just a war. It was worse than a war. Okay? As soon as they woke up to that, what do you think happened? They said, "Oh my God, how could this have been?" You know, and they started like, "Oh my God, how could it have been so bad?" They couldn't believe it. Reflecting back at it, you know, how did they get them to, you know, go so orderly, run into the pits like sheep, you know, and and they know they're going to be shot and they just run like sheep? How did they get them to do that? Because they couldn't believe it. because they were under their own mind control. They couldn't believe it. I'm hoping that everybody wakes up so that you can believe it. And believe it, it can be like that. It can be like that. We have criminals that have stolen everything, and they're going to want to take our land, and they're going to want to take our property rights and go to the Agenda 21 protocols. And they're going to use our debt as leverage for that. So we have to be very wary. This is what's going to go down in the global government, global currency. That's it. You know, that's when the hammer's going to fall, and the tyranny is going to really, really start to roast and cook up. Anyhow, civil rights groups adopt resolution opposing water fluoridation. This is from Ethan Huff on National News. So they finally have got a resolution opposing this in another community. I know they've gotten it taken out of San Antonio, Texas, and other places where fluoride was taken out. First of all, it costs money to everybody to put fluoride, and it really has no benefit. In fact, it causes, like I said, bone cancer. We're working on this with seeing the aldermen and everybody in Waterbury, but it's very peculiar. Like, you can't speak unless you actually live in Waterbury. I don't know how that's very weird, but we're going to continue to bring the movement to each of the different towns and major areas, bringing the information of reports. It shows there are medical reports that are linked to this. You can go, you can Google dental fluorosis. You can Google kidney damage. You can Google all sorts of bone cancer, and it'll all show fluoride links to any of those things. Fluoride linked to bone cancer, fluoride linked to dental fluorosis, fluoride linked to kidney damage, fluoride linked to cancer. It's just really bad, and they're adding it to the water. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's like just the same thing with the GMO foods. So when you wake up to all of this, it's very hard to believe at first, and I got to tell you, I'll spend some time mentioning this. Here's how it happened. Once I realized that we were being deceived as far as there was something called a New World Order, and I started researching, the Rockefellers and everything else, I found that there was no way to escape the reality that my whole life and everything that I thought about and all of my belief systems were a fraud, pretty much, because nothing happened the way the books say they happened. I read in school, and what I believed on television, and the newscasters I believed, or whatever, or until I awoke from this trance. I mean, I was one of the people calling the quote-unquote conspiracy theorists nuts and lunatics. I was one of the people saying, you're crazy. What the hell are you talking about? People running the world. You're out of your mind. This is a free country. We can do whatever we want. Just don't break the law. I'm not kidding. That's where I came from. I mean, this is no joke. And I saw Aaron Russo's film, Freedom to Fascism, and that started me digging, and I learned, well, what I'm talking about. And there's still so much to learn because it's ongoing. But the history of it, it is just unbelievable, bottomless pit of evil. And it goes back a long, long time. I try to concentrate in the last 100 years because it's just, I mean, even that is just outrageous, unbelievable things that we've been told to be truth and that are lies and are really happen different. And then people don't care. It doesn't matter that the Gulf of Tonkin was a false flag and 60,000 people were killed. That doesn't matter. 60,000 Americans, young soldiers, people of a whole generation. Doesn't matter. For the corporations, for the military-industrial complex, and now with the Bush's bullshit, weapons of mass destruction war that's 10 years old, and the false flag at the World Trade Center. It's unbelievable. So we're moving into this tyranny that everybody has to be aware of, and as it's happening, we have to bitch about it. So I'm calling out to all the oath. Again, I was at Oath Keepers the other day, and I'm calling out to all law enforcement and all military, current, active, and retired. You guys are our strength and our foundation. We need you because this is our country. And we got to take it back. Sorry, guys. I just can't. It just overwhelms me sometimes. It's not a joke. This is no joke. Nearly 1 in 10 kids are diagnosed with ADHD, and there's a small increase in the past decade, but it reflects a greater awareness of the disorder. It's still unbelievable. Why does that happen? Well, caution against concluding that it's a real increase. It's funny because does it matter if there's an increase or not? 1 in 10 kids have ADHD, the CDC says. It's crazy. Of course, the vaccine lobby launched a Gardasil safety hoax, and Merck-linked proponents seek, they seized on that controversy when Bachman made that statement. Whatever. So I just think that this whole thing with the vaccine, and I don't want to call it the vaccine industry because it's the pharmaceutical industry, but the vaccine portion of this is just out of control. I mean, absolutely out of control. They just get flu shots everywhere. Get your flu shots. And meanwhile, they say that it's so dangerous. 300 million people should get a flu shot, but only let's see, maybe, I don't know, 17 to 20 people a year die from the flu. Think about that. I mean, it's crazy. That was actually on the Today Show. I was watching it and I'm like, she actually said it, this doctor that they had on said, it's a very dangerous thing. She was like Indian sort of. It's a very dangerous, the flu is that everyone should get a flu shot because it kills, several people a year. And I swear to God, that's what she said. It was on, I think it was on actually not the Today Show, it was on the early show, channel CBS. The CBS part of the New World Order controlled media grid.